It's tarmac, it's fast, and it's frightening.
6 right minus long.
The Waikato hosts the final round of the Parker NZ Rally Championship, the Subaru Finance Tarmac Rally of the Waikato. So after 5 months and 6 different exciting rallies, here we are, all set for the big tussle on tarmac to decide the Parker NZ New Zealand Rally Championship. Good afternoon, team. I'm Clint Brown. Glad you can join us for the exciting highlights from the Subaru Finance Tarmac Rally of the Waikato. What a way to finish a great season on the rally roads of New Zealand. 4 top drivers, all going for the title. 2 from Subaru, led by the production car champion Chris West, who's overall leader at the moment with a handy 25-point lead. Then, of course, you've got the Rookie of the Year, Sam Murray, who's tied for 3rd at the stage. In the red corner for Mitsubishi, you've got Andrew Hawkswood, the super fast guy, in 2nd, trying to go for Westy. And also tied for 3rd, it's the crafty old 3-time former champion, Neil Allport, who's just about had a shocking start as he drove off the ramp. So there you go, anything can happen on tarmac. And the points table shows that Chris West really has the upper hand here, but he must finish to be crowned the champion.
For Andrew or Neil or Sam to get on top of us, they need, obviously us not to finish, but they also need to win as well. They need 32 points. So it's they've got the bigger call, I think, on top of us. That's for sure. As far as the setup, it's totally different. Suspension, brakes, tyres. We've gone back to a 6-speed gearbox. Just for the sheer speed of the stages that we're going to experience tomorrow. So it is totally different. It also requires a different driving style as well, and it's back to a racing car style, so to speak, which I haven't had a lot of experience with.
Do you feel a bit of pressure going into this event? Obviously you've got to finish 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think that Chris West is going to be under a lot more pressure than I am. I've just got to win. He has to finish. Sometimes that's harder.
One look at Neil Allport's car, and it was obvious that he was serious about winning.
Yeah, it is completely different for this rally. We've changed this car a lot. It's much bigger brakes on it. Obviously the springs and the shock absorbers are all different. The car's much, much lower. And the driver, I'm going to have to be really smooth. So what you've everybody's been watching up to this part of the season where everyone's sliding all around the place. You just can't afford to do that now. It's going to have to be precision driving, very, very smooth and quickly.
11 stages between Matamata and Cambridge of fast tarmac. Stage 1, 23.4 kilometres. Whitehall would be the longest of the rally, starting at Karapiro to the east of Cambridge and looping around to finish north. Overnight rain had cleared by the morning, but tyres were still the big question for the drivers, most opting for a wet tyre. Richard Mason had the advantage of being first on the road this time. There would be no gravel sweeping to do and should have the best road conditions. Alongside him today, experienced co-driver Rob Scott, who'd been victorious alongside Marty Rostenberg on the Tarmac Rally of Waitomo just 1 month previous.
Left. 30 very long, 5 right.
It is time across the finish, 10 minutes 45.4 seconds, an average speed of 131 kilometres an hour. This was going to be a fast rally. Andrew Hawks would have been blindingly fast on the roads of Nelson, but from the start here, he seems uncomfortable on the tarmac. With only one tarmac rally in the championship, it's difficult for drivers to judge their speed.
Don't go wide, into long 3 left, 30.
Come on. How do you think our speed's going?
Don't know. I haven't done this before. 7 left, minus 120.
So it was a nervous start for the teams. Rain was also starting to fall, making the latter part of the stage even more treacherous. Hawkswood's time, 10 minutes 49.1. If experience counts on tarmac, then it's no surprise that Neil Allport was leading the way. As well as racing anything on track from production cars to trucks, his team have also set up and run production rally cars on 2 WRC tarmac rallies. With that in mind, it's no wonder he blitzed the field 10 minutes 20.3.
Neil, looks like you pulled a blinder in there. You're 11 seconds quicker than anyone else.
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy with that then, thank you. But I won't want to be doing that all day, I can tell you that. I've had it over and done with now.
A bit slippery in there, the weather's just come in?
Yeah, it was. There was a couple of places there where You know, like for a couple of K it was dry, and then the wipers were back on flat out, and we just about had a spin on that second junction. Very, very lucky to get away with it. So, but I think that's the way the day's going to go, you know.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, what a buzzer.
Mark Tapper was the next fastest. The young production car driver had lost his points and any chance of a championship after a technical infringement by the rally yard team before Napier. Sahira's main aim was just to post another good result and show that the support from loyal sponsor Peter Johnson had been justified through the season. In fact, Mark has been one of the form drivers of the championship in the last half of the season and should be one of the favourites for 2005. His time at 10 minutes 31.8, second quickest, but still 11 seconds slower than Allport. Lewis Scott has always gone well on tarmac, and like Allport, he put the extra power of the Group A Mitsubishi to good use. Third fastest, 10 minutes 36.4. Glenn Smith is another tarmac expert. He's won the Taranaki Tarmac Rally, but rain started to fall near the finish of the stage. He could only manage 10 minutes 43.7, which made him fourth fastest. 23 seconds down on Neil Allport, who was setting the pace early on the first stage of the Tarmac Rally of the Waikato. Coming up after the break, Hawkswood on a charge. And Westy does some dirty dancing. Back to the Subaru Finance Rally of Waikato. 2 more stages before the first service. Stage 2, Scotsman's Valley, just 12.85 kilometres of super fast roads. Stage 3, Richmond Downs, longer at 17.9 kilometres, but more challenging twisty roads through the middle and a long straight at the finish. Neil Allport had shown on stage 1 his intention to set a hot pace and have a good lead by service. Once again, he was fastest and extended his lead in the rally. And with the weather clearing, he again set a blistering pace through stage 3. By the time the cars reached service, his lead was an amazing 37.8 seconds after 54 kilometres. That's 0.6 seconds per K faster than the competition.
900.
So who was in the hunt behind? Initially it was Mark Tapper in his production class Evo 7 Mitsubishi, who had kept pace with Allport. But as the roads got faster, it would be a struggle for the standard Evo engine to develop enough power to stay in touch. For example, on stage 2, Tapper was in 5th gear for over 3 minutes.
Crest in 120.
This is ridiculous.
And then crest 250. 7 left over crest and 450. 7 left.
By stage 3, Tapper had dropped from 2nd to 3rd. So while Tapper was slowly going backwards real fast, it was lower hut driver Lewis Scott who was on the move chasing Allport. His Group A Evo Mitsubishi just has more power than the production cars and pulls out of what few corners there were a lot faster. He was second on stage 2, 10 seconds behind Allport, and third on stage 3 and moved to second overall despite losing 10 seconds at the end of the stage with a blown tyre. How good's that? Glenn Smith was another one of the Group A drivers trying to stay in touch with Allport. On stage 2, he's just 0.3 seconds slower than Scott. But on stage 3, his day goes all wrong. Cutting this corner, he goes too deep and smashes the centre diff, limping back to service in 9th place. Sam Murray is newly crowned Rookie of the Year. Obviously doesn't have a lot of tarmac experience, but on stage 2, he was the 5th fastest champ car. By stage 3, he'd moved up to 5th place. But the big loser on these stages was Richard Mason. His production class Subaru just had not enough speed to match the Mitsubishis, despite trying very, very hard.
6 left plus. 5th
It's hard to imagine the forces which would be unleashed if something went wrong at 200 kilometres an hour.
4 right tyres, 150.
By stage 3, Mason was in 8th place, 1 minute 11 seconds down on Allport.
80, 8 left, 180. 4 right minus tightens.
Andrew Hawkswood had to win here to be in with a shot at the championship, but he lost more time on stage 2, only 9th fastest.
4 right minus 30.
That meant he was 13 seconds slower than Allport. But that all changed on stage 3, where the tyres finally started working, or maybe something clicked in the driver's head. He was suddenly back on the pace, scorched through the stage in 7 minutes 41.5, beaten only by Allport, and moving up to 4th place.
6 left, 250. 7 left, 200.
But would it be too late? Tom Pritchard, another to move up on these stages. He won his first Tarmac Rally 1 year ago at Waitomo, and now he was up to 7th. Brett Martin got his dad's Group A Evo 6 out of the shed for the last rally of the season. He'd moved up into the top 10.
3, 2, 1, go.
But what about Chris West? The newly crowned production car champion didn't have to finish higher than 13th, but at the end of stage 1 he was only 10th. On stage 2 he was only 13th fastest, and suddenly in real danger of actually missing the title chase altogether. Oi! But just check out the amount of gravel thrown up even by just a few cars in front, not to mention the lichen and the moss growing on the side of the road. The message must have got out though, because through the next stage Westy was driving a lot harder on 3, up to 9th fastest, and starting to close in on Brett Martin. So after 3 special stages, it was Neil Allport putting in a special drive, opened up a big lead of 37 seconds on tarmac. Now when you're racing around the wonderful Waikato, you can't get better than the beautiful town of Matamata, because it's home to some of the finest horse racing studs in the country. But today, the mighty town of Matamata is all about the service park for the ultimate showdown between man and machine, and that ultimate race of horsepower.
Mark, after 3 stages, a solid 3rd place at this stage.
Yeah, you've got to be happy. I mean, the roads are extremely fast, and it's just a matter of carrying speed everywhere, and my car seems to have pretty good top speed, and it's working well for us.
Are you surprised that your Group N car is keeping up with quite a few of the Group A cars?
Yeah, I am very surprised, actually, but it's a good car, really. Built a good car, and you know, I had looked at sort of overseas rallies and results from overseas rallies, and knew that the Evo 7s and 8s are a very good car on tarmac, and so probably am a little bit surprised, but you know, I know it's a good car.
Lewis, looks like a little bit of a moment on the front of the car.
Yeah, it just landed quite heavily on the jump, probably a couple of k's from the end of the last stage, and the tyre just exploded, which was a little bit exciting at 210 k's or something. Yeah, so we drove the last couple of k's on just the wheel, so probably lost 10 seconds or so there, I guess.
Neil, 3 stages down, you got a huge 37-second lead.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. It was, you know, pretty indifferent, the weather there on that first stage this morning, and I thought, you know, that was probably going to be the rest of the day, but luckily the last couple of stages have been dry, but we've still been quite quick, so no, I'm very comfortable with that at the moment.
You have a very slim chance, you must win the rally here, you're way in front, so I guess it's really up to what Wesley does.
Yeah, you know, I said at the start that all we can do is win the rally, and we have to do that, and we can't put pressure on anyone else or anything like that, so it's really up to now whether, you know, Westy makes a mistake or something unforeseen happens to the car. But, you know, with 3 stages and it's not looking that good, but okay, we've still got a bit further to go yet.
The Kiwi 2 class for 2-wheel drive cars just had 5 entries at this round, meaning that Jason West stood a pretty good chance of winning the title in his 1600 Suzuki Baleno. The Dunedin driver had scored consistently throughout the season, while his competition had failed to finish, leaving him at the top of the points table.
Caution along 4 right minus, and it tightens. Repeat, caution.
caution long.
Should Westy not finish here, then Dave Strong was in the best position to take out the championship. If he wins here, his lightweight Honda Jazz with over 200 horsepower was ideal for Tarmac. Had the roads been tight and twisty, he may have been in a position to actually challenge the production cars with the top 10 times, but he still dominated his class with a handy lead of 41 seconds at service.
To crest 200 to finish. Oh, that's scary. Oh, we're over 200.
Sensational. Now, Kane Barry led the challenge of the Nissans behind. His sweet-sounding Pulsar thrilling the crowds who were waiting around just to hear the high-revving tiny cars. He was second to Strong. Shane Watkin lives here in the Waikato and drives on these roads every day, but he slid off backwards on stage 1 and had to be pushed back onto the road. The Pulsar suffering a bent rear suspension and broken windows, but a quick trip to the wrecker at Matamata and new parts were fitted at service. But that mishap let James Hancock into third in the class in his tiny 1600cc Corolla. Despite this very close call with series points leader Jason West. Whoa, synchronised driving, boys. Hancock has been a revelation in this class since he joined at round 3 and is already thinking of a new car for 2005. In fact, several new cars are expected next year, more Nissans and possibly 2 manufactured back teams, so watch this space. And after the break, the championship's on the line for Chris West as Hawkswood makes a charge. Welcome back to the final round of the Parker NZ New Zealand Rally Championship. While the rally was dominated by the champ cars, 3 drivers stood out in the non-championship field. Damon Templeman, Charlie Evans and Ryan Burley, keeping the stars honest with top 5 stage times throughout the morning. 4 stages now, starting with Old Te Aroha Road to the east of Matamata, the longest in the group at 14.7 k's and expected to be the fastest road on the rally. Then stage 5, just 10.6 k's, and the tightest stage of the rally, finishing in the village of Waiomo. And the pressure was now on Andrew Hawkswood to respond to Allport's lead, but over these relatively short stages, that was a big challenge. Hawkswood was fastest on stage 4, but by only 1 second. So not exactly a big inroad into the lead.
Okay, Neil, looks like the first time today you haven't actually won the stage.
Yeah, no, but that's all right. It's only a second, so very, very fast in there and very, very cresty as well. So no, I'm comfortable with that.
But on 5, the airport responded. Yes, Allport won the stage, taking another 4 seconds off Hawkswood, extending his lead. Glenn Smith had wanted to finish the season on a high. He was third fastest on 4, but at the start of stage 5, the centre diff is leaking oil. And then he loses more time when he goes through a fence on the stage. Tom Pritchard was after a podium place, 4th fastest on stage 4, 3rd fastest on stage 5, and now up to 5th overall. Mark Tapper had backed off his early pace and had actually lost a second to Pritchard on stage 4.
Way too early.
And like some of the drivers, he just wasn't comfortable with the flat-out speed of these roads.
Mark, looks like you're shaking your head in disbelief.
Yeah, I don't think we come out of 5th gear apart from 1 corner, so it's a little scary, really.
But Tapper had moved ahead of Lewis Scott to take 2nd. Scott was taking it easy after discovering his tyres were delaminating. But Tapper didn't hold second for long. On the 10.6k Kakahu stage, he was lucky to get away with a half spin. And he finished the stage trailing 50 metres of fence wire. Sam Murray's already taken out the rookie prize, and here at the Waikato event he had a chance to take out Group A as well. He was currently the 4th Group A car behind Allport, Hawkswood and Scott. 8th fastest on stage 4, then 6th fastest on stage 5, moved him to within 21 seconds of Scott. While the Ralliart Group N production Mitsubishis were close to the pace of the Group A cars, the Subarus have a lower top-end speed. And on these roads with very long straights, you can see on board with Chris West, he admitted he lacked a lot of focus in the early stages, and focus is exactly what you need on these roads at these speeds.
5 left minus 220. Flat crest 150. That's a warning. What's this? Flat crest 150. Yeah. Past junction 6 right minus 100.
Awesome by stage 5. He was up to 9th in the championship rally, and the title was looking safe.
I think it'll be the best one today in a very enjoyable way. It was quite tricky in there, but like the speed, at least you had some corners, and you know, the concentration was a lot better in there. I actually enjoyed that. So.
But Richard Mason wasn't so happy. While he was ahead of West, he couldn't come close to the Ralliart Mitsubishis and was frustrated down in 8th place.
Slippery braking into a 4 right plus. 30. 5 left minus, yep, 200. 7 right, 30. Short, 7 right over crest, into 5 left, don't cut, curb, 80. 4 right plus.
Brett Martin had justified his decision to go to a Group A car just for this rally to get a taste of the speed. And by the end of stage 5, he was up to 9th between West and Mason. So Allport nearly a minute ahead of Hawkswood and Scott as they headed for the 2 sprint stages. Stage 6 Okarori, just 6.5 kilometre starts at Tiro and heads north. And then the super sprint Paparamu stage, just 4.7 k's. One thing's for sure, without a puncture or a crash, no one was going to catch Allport on these stages. So they were very short, so no surprise that only 14 seconds separated Deborah Kibble, 19th fastest, and Andrew Hawkswood, who won the stage. Kibble was 15th out of the championship cars by the end of 7, having her own private battle with Dean Sumner. Sumner had been chasing brake problems all day. The car vibrating severely under braking despite changing discs and pads at service. Grant Barber was also chasing handling problems in his Evo 8, which hadn't looked happy on tarmac since stage 1. He was just under a minute behind Malcolm Stewart. While Allport and Scott had gone for radical suspension and brake setups for the tarmac, Stewart was running smaller wheels and rally suspension, so 11th behind Green. Quite a good result here. At the top of the field, the Allport-Hawkswood battle continued. Tied on special stage 6, but Hawkswood experienced huge understeer at the spectator point.
450.
On stage 7, he got it right and won the stage, but was only 2 seconds faster than Allport. So it was still on for the former champion who had control of the rally. His push at the start of the event had proven to be a calculated move, and it was paying off. Lewis Scott had backed off slightly to save his tyres, which were sprouting frightening blisters. Having already blown one, he was keen to just get to service in one piece. Glenn Smith ended his season just past here when the diff finally cried enough. Tom Pritchard had another go at his teammate Mark Tapper. He was fourth on stage 6, but on stage 7, he lost another second to his Ralliart teammate.
2, 1, go. 104 left plus.
Tapper had put his half spin on special stage 5 behind him. And he was now back on the pace. Although these narrower roads made it harder for the production cars, which don't have as much power for coming out of the corners. It was still a close rally, though. Only 62 seconds separating Tapper in 4th. And Westy back in 11th. As well as Pritchard, Tapper had Sam Murray to worry about. He's already been on the podium twice in 2004, and the young Palmerston North driver was just 21 seconds behind Tapper in 7th. Richard Mason was a further 34 seconds back, struggling to increase his pace in the NZ Subaru. And Brett Martin was only 4.3 seconds behind Mason. So after special stage 7, it's still Neil Allport out in front by 52 seconds from the chasing bunch, led by Hawkswood, Scott, Tapper, Tippelman up there in one of the non-championship cars. Coming up, is this the new champion in the Parker NZ Rally? Chris West just has to hold on as we count down to the finish.
When I was 14 months old, my mum got diagnosed with
Pink Ribbon Day again this year, Friday the 8th of October.
Welcome back to Free Sport of the Subaru Finance Tarmac Rally of the Waikato. A great way to wrap up the Parker NZ New Zealand Rally Championship with the Terror on tarmac today. And while the cat and mouse game continues out in front, further back down the field there's another battle looming out west, and that's the big clash for the Kiwi 2 class. Dave Strong had a whopping 1 minute 46 second lead over Shane Watkin after the first service, but he wasn't holding back.
Repeat, close 3 right into a 4 left plus.
The Auckland driver had his Honda on the rev limiter through these stages.
6 right and 30 to a 3 left slippy into a long.
While the Kiwi 2 first place was safely his for now, he set off to chase the top 10 finish.
20 to a 4 left plus the Titans.
At the end of stage 7, he was 13th in the championship rally, just 20 seconds behind Grant Barber's Evo 8.
Into a 5 left plus 120 to a 3 right junction. Repeat, 5 left plus 120 to a 3 right junction, 350.
Kane Barry had been battling it out with Strong after the first stages, but on special stage 4 his spark plug lead came loose and he lost a whopping 1 minute 50 seconds. But he was back on the pace after fixing the lead, fastest of the Kiwi 2 cars through 7. Shane Watkin was lucky still to be going after his big crash on special stage 1, but the battered little Nissan was still putting up a fight. He was fastest on special stage 4, sitting second in class by the end of stage 7. But at least he had good air conditioning. James Hancock was handicapped with just having 1600 cc's, but he was still putting up some incredible times. But one guy who wasn't going to be joining the battle was Jason West. 5th in the class in this rally was still good enough to give him the overall Kiwi 2 title for 2004. This year's Parker NZ New Zealand Rally Championship is full of rising stars like Rookie of the Year Sam Murray, who wrapped up that title in Nelson. And racing on tarmac for the first time continued his huge learning curve.
Pretty average, actually. It's only me. The car's great, tyres are good. Just I'm not brave enough, really. I should be trusting the car to work and trust the tyres to grip, and in the fast corners I'm on the brakes and down a gear, and even into braking points, I'm missing the braking points. I'm way too early and on the brakes too long, but, I just came here with a goal of finishing in the top 6 or 8, so that's, I thought I might be a little bit closer maybe, but still happy.
The man behind Murray's success in the Radio Sport Subaru WRX is team owner Peter Day, who's known him since he was only 12 years old.
So I've known the family for a long time. Sam's progressed through the car club ranks, and he's potentially one of the fastest guys going to be around in the championship.
Now, Murray's from the famous Palmerston North Rally factory that's produced champions like Bruce Herbert and Jeff Argyle. And keeping the 27-year-old on the straight and narrow is co-driver Stuart Jenkinson.
Well, he's always been a very, very good driver. We've known right from the start from Palmerston North that he's had a lot of talent, but he hasn't had the car to do it. So with the help of Peter Day, he's been able to lend him the car, and the whole team's gone very well, and he's come out with a really good result.
And for the rookie team, results speak for themselves.
His results in each rally have just got better and better. He's gone 4th, 5th, 3rd and 2nd in every rally, and I just think it's only going to get better and better for him.
And he's also cost effective, which is a real bonus.
He hasn't put a mark on the car all year, and that's been a goal because we haven't had the budget to damage the car.
Came here with 1 round to go, and it's silly to take any risks and try and do anything we're not comfortable doing and crashing the car when Peter's given it to us for the year. So we came here with just the goal of finishing a good tidy finish, and hopefully we can sort of stay close enough to Andrew at the end of it to get Group A.
So just 4 stages to go. Stage 8, Buckland, was the longest of the 4 at 15.6 kilometres, a challenging twisty stage to the west of Matamata. And at the stage start, rain for Richard Mason.
250.
Yes, the weather was going to have a final say over the championship. Showers falling throughout the afternoon, making conditions tricky.
4 right plus, cut 80.
Mason was 7th, not bad considering his car was not suited to the high-speed roads. The Subaru lacks the top-end power, especially when running on New Zealand avgas, as opposed to the FIA fuel which drivers can use on the Rally of New Zealand and the Rally of Rotorua.
6 right 30, long 5 left plus.
Tom Pritchard surprised everyone by winning the stage. And that kept him in 4th place, 15 seconds behind Mark Tapper. Tapper was the next fastest through the stage despite rain at the start.
Awesome grip, I reckon. It's good, isn't it?
The team had fitted new tyres at service and they were working.
30 to 6 right, 120. 5 right minus over crest, 120. To 4 left plus.
Andrew Hawkswood had the worst of the rain to the stage start. At the halfway mark, there was still a lot of standing water on the road.
Opens 100.
But although he was only the 4th fastest, he still remained 2nd overall behind Neil Allport.
Long 7 left plus 250. Long 6 right plus opens 180.
Neil Allport was only 3rd fastest on the stage, but he still maintained a very handy 52-second lead out in front. So after special stage 8, Lewis Scott was out after a puncture-caused gearbox failure. Brian Green also lost out on the stage with a broken drive shaft. Now stage 9 runs from Karapiro to French Pass, 10.9 Ks. The first 4 actually a repeat of special stage 1 before turning off at Whitehall. Stage 10, Toa was just 6.2 Ks, a fast burn down a mainly straight road.
2, 1, go. 150, 6 left plus.
So not much opportunity to make gains here, but it was raining, so the roads would be slippery.
Titans.
Richard Mason was first over stage 9, and for the first time in the rally, he had to deal with gravel and dirt on the roads, this time thrown up by the cars on stage 1.
Earlier on in the day.
Okay, well done.
Yep.
Flat crest, 80.
Once again, he was 7th fastest, so no real change in his performance. Clearly, he'd settled into a pace for the remainder of the rally. fact, it was Mark Tapper who had set the pace over these two stages. Fresh tyres out of break in the rain meant that he took a chance to charge, fastest on stage 9. And then here on stage 10, he was second to his teammate Tom Pritchard. This was Pritchard's second stage win of the rally. Both rally yard drivers keen to finish the season with a podium result, but Tapper had the upper hand going into the final stage. Neil Allport put any doubt that Hawkswood could beat him out of the question on these two stages. He beat Hawkswood both times, staying in front, maintaining his lead, which was now 54 seconds going into the final stage. Hawkswood also had to cope with the heavy rain throughout the stage, and by the end of it here, the car just doesn't want to turn.
Very long 3 right, 30. 5 left plus. Small crest. Finish. 5 left plus, small crest, finish.
Chris West was starting to enjoy the roads. In his current position, he would easily finish with enough points to take out the Parker NZ title for 2004.
6 left, 250.
He even gets a little air here on his way to 6th fastest through special stage 9 to easily stay in 8th overall in the rally. Sam Murray had received a huge boost when Lewis Scott withdrew in the previous stage. If he remained where he was, 3rd place in Group A, then he would be crowned New Zealand Group A champion. His only threat came from Brett Martin, who was 9th fastest on both these stages, but still trailed him by 52 seconds. And Grant Barber had been going well until stage 10, when he crashed and clipped a fence and it was all over. And he took out a power pole as well. Deborah Kibble was also pushing hard, moving ahead of Dean Sumner into 10th place by the end of 10. And there's the top 5 after 10 special stages in the Tarmac Rally of the Waikato. Allport, Hawkswood, Tapper, Pritchard and Templeman. Booyah, don't you just love it? So that's the flying finish at the end of special stage 10. All the big guns have been through. That means there's just one to go. Stay with us after the break on 3 Sport as we wrap up the final round of the final stage of the Parker NZ New Zealand Rally Championship. Stage 11, the final run home, starts above Lake Karapiro, winds and twists its way to the finish 13.2 kilometres later at the school at Mangatatauri. Dave Strong brought the Honda Jazz home 12th in the championship field at the head of the Kiwi 2 class, his best result for 2004. The car has shown the way for the class this year, taking a current model car has modernised the look of the Kiwi 2 field. Hopefully we'll see the growth of this class next year.
150. To a 7 left minus, 50 to a 7 left.
Shane Watkin could have matched the top end speed of the Honda, but in the end he recovered from his early off to finish 2nd in the class. Kane Barry joined in the giant killing by scoring an outright 9th fastest in the championship field on the final stage and finished 3rd in the class, just 2 seconds behind Watkin. James Hancock had been fast over the final stages but couldn't match the power of the Nissans. He was 4th in the end, only 6 seconds down on Barry. And Jason West did what he had to do, finishing the rally and taking out the title of Kiwi 2 champion for 2004.
Jason, you've been a major supporter of the Kiwi 2 class for many years. You've tried and tried. You've finally done it. You're New Zealand champion. How does it feel?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's taken a while, but we've got there in the finish, and we're over the moon.
Deborah Kibble finished her season with 10th here in the championship rally. Malcolm Stewart was next, 9th place, and that secured him 3rd in Group A in the championship race. Brett Martin finished 8th, so in the end his decision to use a Group A car had certainly paid off. Chris West came to the rally as the newly crowned production car champion, only having to finish 13th or better.
4 right quite long tight
to claim the New Zealand Rally Championship title. And after a bit of a nervous start, he finished a comfortable 7th. Became just the second driver ever to claim the overall champions title driving a production car. So a fantastic result for the Winger Subaru New Zealand team in their first assault on the championship.
To stop. Woohoo! You're the champion, mate. All right.
You're now the New Zealand Rally champion.
Thanks very much, guys. Like, it's, yeah, I just can't believe it. Like, today, this morning, we got out there and it was pretty bad. You know, we just, in fairness, we didn't really know what to expect, and we just kept our cool all day, and slowly we actually enjoyed ourselves this afternoon. So it's fantastic. It's not only me, it's my team. It's like they've been as determined as what I have, and it's a great team, great car, great sponsors, fantastic.
Richard Mason was 6th. He would finish the year 2nd in the production championship. But there was one more title up for grabs this year. Group A victory would go to the rookie Sam Murray with another top 5 finish.
Sam, you won the rookie championship, and Nelson, you've just clinched the Group A championship.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It was right from the start of the year we wanted to get a top 5, a top 3 in Group A, and so it's very good. It's got off to a bit of an average start to the day. We didn't have the car quite right, and I hadn't done a tarmac rally, so luck played into us a little bit, I guess, with Lewis not finishing, and yeah, excellent.
Tom Pritchard wasn't able to catch Mark Tapper, so he had to settle for 4th place. Tapper went into the stage 5.5 seconds behind Hawkswood, and he wanted 2nd place.
150. Long. Oh. Just blowing it.
But a spin at the start of the stage seemed to have put paid to that. He regathered after the spin and went on through the stage, only 8th fastest. So now the pressure was off Andrew Hawkswood. Well, for a while it was. Yes, on exactly the same corner, Hawkswood clips the bank. The problem is now the left-hand wheels were full of dirt and way out of balance. So the car's vibrating so badly he's got problems with the power steering. So he's pretty relieved to cross the line just 2.7 seconds faster than Tapper to hold on to 2nd place. Neil Allport had done everything to give himself a shot at the title this weekend. In the end, his winning margin was a very impressive 1 minute and 6 seconds, a great result and a 2nd rally win for 2004.
Neil, congratulations, another rally win to you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, no, very, very pleased about today. It's been a tough day, but very, very happy to have won it, that's for sure.
So a great win for Neil Allport. No real change to the results since Lewis Scott's demise on Special Stage 9. Also a top effort by the non-championship entries of Templeman in 5th and Charlie Evans in 10th. And with 3 Evos in the top 3 of the rally, that was enough to secure Mitsubishi the manufacturer's title for the year. But while they enjoyed the champagne spray, the overall team's title went to the Subaru Rally team. Group A went to the rookie Sam Murray, just ahead of Hawkswood. And the overall championship, Chris West. A fantastic performance for the man from Winger Subaru. And he certainly couldn't wait to celebrate. Subaru taking out 5 of the 7 championships. And Hamilton became a sea of blue to wrap up the Parker NZ New Zealand Rally Championship for 2004.